over the years, just like every other car guy pretty much, I've been accumulating more and more tools as time goes on, and I've needed room to expand. Now, a lot of people, I mean, I don't think I have a lot right now. Like, it's not a lot, it's not impressive at all. But I guess with some of the things I do, people get discouraged because they don't have the right tools or the amount of tools. And, you know, everyone starts somewhere. Like, when I first started, I had no tools. And when I was in middle school, I got a little toolkit because I got a little pocket bike motorcycle, so I got like really cheap Chinese tools. And then when I was 16, I got my first car, and that year for Christmas, I got a Craftsman mechanics tool set. I'm sure almost everyone on here has seen one or has one. Pretty basic. And that's what I really started out with, was just a little Craftsman mechanic tool set, like 100 pieces. Half of it was metric and half of it was standard. So really it was only like 50 pieces. And then, you know, as time went on, I went in, it may have been in some videos, I got like a 3-drawer like portable Husky toolbox you could carry around. And then I eventually outgrew that and got this Craftsman box right here. This is a 5-drawer Craftsman box. I got that like 3 or 4 years ago. And I'd say a little less than a year ago, I outgrew that and I got an expansion for it. Another 4 drawers below it. And I've gone to the point now where I think it's time to expand even more. So I went out today and bought another toolbox. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to replace all of that. I'm not sure if all my tools will fit in it, but it's definitely a lot nicer, and I'll show you what it is and give my full review on it. But first, I gotta get it out of the Lexus. It's kind of stuck in the back seat. Well, here she is in all of her glory. Why don't I get it assembled first, and then I'll show you.
Get your squats in.
Those things weigh like 10 pounds.
They're heavy! Oh, what?
Lift with your back, not your legs.
What do you have to do with them?
Am I in?
I guess, I don't know. Jesus!
Alright. For the most part, she's together. Just need to put the bolts in the corners. Spray some adhesive in here to make this mat stick to the drawers so it doesn't slide around. Oh, yeah. Alright guys, so here it is. This is the US General or the Harbor Freight rolling tool chest. Some of you might be proud that I got this, some might be disappointed, and some of you might be screaming at your computer screens right now. But before you pass any judgment, let me show you a closer look of this toolbox. I'll talk a little bit about it and then see if I can get my tools from those toolboxes into here. I'm not sure if this will be able to completely fit everything in here, but it should be close, and this, I can already tell I think I'm going to like this a lot more. So I'll bring it a little closer and go over the toolbox, and I'll give you my opinion and you can form your own opinion. So to start off, this is the US General rolling tool chest. You can get it at Harbor Freight. I think it MSRP is for $199 or $200. And I actually got this one for a pretty good price. I went to the store and I originally wanted to look at the size of the box to see if it would even fit in my Lexus, because you can buy this online and on like a deal for like $160, but to ship it, it was another $100. And apparently you can't use the store 20% coupon on toolboxes, so I was going to have to pay $200 for this. And before I paid $200, I wanted to see if it would fit in my car, because the IS300 and the Subaru seats don't fold down. So I went to the store and asked if I could see the box, and the guy was like, well, actually, we have one where the box is damaged, and because it's damaged, we're going to mark it down 20%. And I was like, ooh, baby. So we went back to the back of the store, and he showed me the box, and it was pretty damaged, but the toolbox was perfectly fine. I was able to take it out and look at it, and I inspected it, and it was perfectly fine. So we took it up to the front, and I got 20% off or $40 off. So I only paid $160 for this toolbox. And I think I have 160, maybe even 180 in my other toolboxes over there. So dollar per dollar, I think this is going to be a much better solution for me. So why don't I show you some of the features that this toolbox has. First of all, it's got a lid that closes. So you could use this for a very light duty workbench, which I think I might cover this in foam, like the floor padding, so I can use this more as a workbench and not damage it. And it's got this handle that you have to screw on here, and it's got hood struts. Some of my cars don't even have these. And it did come with mats. You saw me spray this adhesive on here to make them stick, and I actually bought drawer liners from Lowe's for like $20 right after I bought this, because I didn't realize it came with drawer liners. So kind of wasted that 20 bucks, but it's never a bad thing to have drawer liners, I guess. And there's actually some pretty cool features in here, so I'll bring you a little bit closer. So on each side of the toolbox, underneath the lid, there is this section with a bunch of holes, which is for tools like your ratchets, your pry bars, and screwdrivers. It really does save a lot of space, because in my other toolbox, these were in drawers, and even though they're kind of exposed outside, when you close the lid, they are secure. So you can touch them on the outside, but you cannot steal them. So this is on both sides, so you can put a bunch of screwdrivers, ratchets, and pry bars in here. This should save a lot of space. It does have a lock on the front, which only locks the lid. This pry bar doesn't even fit in there because the handle's too long. But when you close the lid, you turn this lock and it locks the lid. To lock these drawers, all you do is close the lid. So these drawers can open and close with the lid open and with this locked. The drawers will not open with the lid closed. So this is what locks the drawers, and this locks the lid. And these drawers, they each have individual finger locks on here, so you have to push this to open it. Here's what I don't like. Snap-on boxes and Matco boxes and higher-end boxes have these lock tabs all the way across. So you can pretty much put your hand anywhere, slide it, and pull it out. This Harbor Freight one only has one little tab on each side, and this one's over here. So I don't like that. That might get annoying, especially if I have a friend over, I'm like, oh, hey, go in my toolbox and get this. And they're like, what the heck, it won't open. So I don't like that there's only one tab for the lock, but for $160, you get what you pay for. But my other toolboxes didn't have this feature at all, and to lock the drawers, you had to put a stupid rod through it. So this is still an upgrade, but I think this could have been improved, but you get what you pay for. Drawers. This toolbox does have this top bin, which is like 4 inches deep. Then it has one small drawer here, and another half drawer, but it's deeper there. Another half drawer here. So it's got 2 shallow half drawers, 1 deep half drawer, 1 full medium drawer, and then 1 deep large drawer. Then down here, big storage area. I guess you can put like your big impact gun or other large tools down here. And then it has this side compartment for like paint cans or WD-40 and things like that. And it does have this handy dandy handle on the side, which is not too unsturdy feeling for being Harbor Freight. It's not that bad. It does have 2 pivoting and locking casters and 2 fixed casters on the other side. They seem to work pretty well, but this is Harbor Freight, and I know their work stools and things like that, the casters are garbage. So we'll see how long these last, and if they do break, then I'll just get higher quality ones. But I haven't heard any bad things about this box. I know a couple people that have them, and you know, they haven't told me any bad things. So I'll see what happens with these casters. One other thing, it may or may not be worth mentioning. I haven't tried this on other boxes to see how flimsy they are, but you can see the flex right here. The steel is pretty thin, so there is some flex. I can't do this same test on my other boxes because they're not this deep, but if you have another box similar to this, you can do this and compare. So there is some flex and play in here. But this sides have a little bit, but it's, I mean, there is play, but it's not horrible. The doors on a 2014 F-150 have more play than this. And these drawers are ball bearing. They seem pretty smooth right now. They don't seem too bad. They're not as smooth or as easy to pull as some Snap-on boxes that I've felt, but these are still not bad, but there's also no load in these just yet. So that's pretty much it for this toolbox. You saw the drawers, you saw the storage bottom underneath. I showed you the casters, the locks, the storage compartments on the side. All right, let's see how many of tools from my old setup over there can fit in here. Let's see if I can get it all. Okay, so I got every single tool from my old toolbox setup and then some into my new US General toolbox. Unfortunately, I really don't have any more room for more tools, so this didn't solve my problem of needing more room. So I can't really get rid of my old toolboxes if I want more tools. This just gave me a more convenient tool. This just gave me a more convenient storage solution that I can move around the shop and don't have to bend over under the table. But if I need to buy like one more tool, it's probably not going to fit in here, at least not nicely. So why don't I show you what all I fit, and I'll give you my opinion on it. So starting with the top end, all my sockets, got my 1/2 inch, my 1/4 inch, my 3/8. Got some magnetic stuff here, got my digital torque adapter here, electrical tape, Teflon tape, something that you don't smoke illegal stuff with out of that. Hand lotion, a knife, safety glasses, flashlight. So your real basic and real commonly used stuff is up top. Got 2 pry bars over here, a couple ratchets that I don't use that often, 2 lighters, and over here got my more commonly used ratchets, and a mirror right here. So this top area is pretty stuffed. I might be able to fit like 5 more sockets up here, a couple more magnetic things, but there isn't much more real estate up here. And this first small drawer, I got all of my screwdrivers in here, just barely. This made it a little bit more cramped. This is a low profile screwdriver set, but every single screwdriver fit, but just barely. Over here is kind of my drilling and cutting drawer. Drill bits here, some dirt, some drill bits here, burrs, pipe cutting tool, a couple taps right there, like a sheet metal cutting thing right there, drill bits, and this is like a hex bit set with tons of little drill bit attachments in there, and your trusty spring-loaded punch. Over here is hex bit and Torx bits, standard and metric in this one. Pretty stuffed, don't have much more room in this one either. Still getting used to these locks. My wrench drawer, I could fit maybe a handful more wrenches in here, not too much more room. Ratcheting, flex head wrenches, line wrenches, stubbies, awesome adjustable vice grip wrench. These are tools for like my angle grinders and stuff. Pretty badass universal adjustable wrench kind of thing that my father left behind for me. Or it's actually my brother's, but I've been using it. And a big 24mm wrench that you need to use for a Mazda 3 transmission plug. Going down. A bunch of random stuff in here. Pliers, files, punches, trim panel removal tool, pickle fork. Pretty random. Tape measure, but this is really the only place I could find to put it. And then down here I was able to put my 1/2 inch impact, my 3/8 impact, my drill, sledgehammer, this go-through socket and ratchet set that I hardly ever use, and a couple pry bars as well that couldn't fit in the top bin. So right here, got my lubricants, multi-purpose lube, WD-40, brake cleaner, penetrating lube, white lithium grease, Freol. This stuff is awesome. Got a wax candle here. This is also for breaking loose nuts and bolts. It actually works pretty good. Teflon tape, Loctite, and that's pretty much it. So what do I think of the Harbor Freight US General rolling tool cart? For $160, absolutely amazing. For $200, awesome. I mean, I paid $160 for this because the box was damaged, and I paid $160 for that setup I have on the floor over there, and this blows it out of the water. Now, this only has a little bit more storage than my setup over there, but it's a lot more convenient. I'm not bending over. It's not on the floor. It's a lot more safe, you know. It's easier to lock. It's more secure. You can even use this as a light-duty workbench, and you can wheel this around. So if I'm on the lift over there, I can just push this right on over. I don't have to make a whole bunch of trips. You know, you get what you pay for, though. Like, the quality, you can feel in the drawers. It's not up there with Snap-on, but, you know, $160, $200 versus $1,000. If you're an everyday mechanic, I could see why you might want Snap-on or Matco. Those things are very durable, and, you know, I have a Mac or Matco box in my basement. That's been in my family for 30 or 40 years now, and it's got a little bit of issues there, but it's lasted longer than I've been alive. And, you know, if you spend a couple grand on that, you know, over that amount of time, it's really not that big of a deal. And especially with this, you know, $200 and this lasts a decade or two. Pretty awesome, but over a long period of time, I guess it's not that big of a deal to go with Snap-on. But for someone like me who is very DIY and very weekend warrior-ish, you know, I'm not using these every single day for 8 hours a day. I think this will do me just fine. I'm not going to put a ton of abuse on these drawers. One thing that does feel kind of cheap, and I'm hoping doesn't crap out on me, are these locks. They do feel cheaper than Snap-on and Matco. Hopefully those will not be an issue. Right here, seems a little bit flimsy, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. You know, it doesn't feel that bad. Like, it's pretty solid. Like, it's not a bad toolbox. If you have $160, $200, buy this all day long. You will not regret it. But at the same time, I can understand why you would want to spend $1,000 on the Snap-on version. But for me, this is absolutely perfect. But I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of my other toolboxes. So I'm going to need to think about that one, because I may have just cluttered up this shop even more if I have this now and still need my other toolboxes. So I really like this thing. I'm happy I bought it. I don't regret it one bit. And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks.